and welcome to this week's video. Today I want to show you why I'm not actually painting a cat. I'm painting light, because the moment you start thinking cat, your brain takes over and starts painting what it knows instead of what it sees. And that's where things go wrong. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to shift your focus, see the light properly, and use it to completely transform your painting. Let's jump straight in. Number one, what does it mean to paint light rather than the object? A lot of painters think in terms of the subject they are painting. So a bowl of fruit, a cat, a dog, etc. And that is actually where the problem starts. Because the moment you label your subject, your brain takes over and starts telling you what it knows rather than what it sees. Your brain knows a cat is black. It knows fur is soft. It knows eyes are round and shiny, and it will try to paint all of those things from assumption rather than observation. Painting light rather than the object is about overriding that instinct completely. It is about looking past the label of what the thing is and asking instead, what is the light doing to the surface right now? What makes this painting interesting? What makes it beautiful? Is not the cat but the quality of the light that is falling on it. It is not a subtle shift in approach, but it is one of the most transformative things you can do as a painter. And a black cat in direct light is one of the most perfect subjects imaginable to learn it from, because everything you thought you knew about the colour of your subject is immediately challenged the moment the light hits it. Number two, how direct light transforms a black cat. The light in this photo is coming from the right and falling diagonally over the cat, creating a cast shadow down here. In the areas where it hits the cat most strongly, it is not black at all. It is warmer, luminous, it is almost golden orange in places. Direct light bleaches and warms whatever it touches, but the camera cannot accurately show us this, so it blows out our detail and shows us the light in white. It is really important to understand that white is not a warm colour, it is cool. So unless you lay your cool whites next to a warm colour like yellow or orange, your light effect will not work. This is where I find putting a warm wash on my canvas helpful. I use transparent yellow oxide plus a little ultramarine deep plus Gamsol. The transparency of this paint gives me a very flexible warm base to start from. It is much easier to kill warmth than to put it in a cool mix. The front part of this cat is in shadows. Again, it is really important to understand that black is a cool, dense colour, and if not used correctly will make your cat look flat. Understanding how to paint light is really important for a successful painting. Number three, the temperature of direct light. We have established that direct light transforms a black cat into something far more complex and colourful than you would expect. Now let's talk about temperature, because this is what really drives every mixing decision in this painting. Direct light always has a temperature. It is never neutral. Sunlight is warm, leaning towards yellow and orange. Cooler northern light leans towards blue. Whatever temperature the light is, the shadows will be the opposite. This is the fundamental warm and cool relationship that runs through every painting, and in the painting about light, it is absolutely central. However, artificial light has its own temperature bias depending upon the source. Here we have direct natural light plus ambient artificial light, so we are dealing with a lot of reflections bouncing around. You can see this in our shadows. As you move away from the direct light into the halftones, the temperature starts to shift. This is where the warmth begins to cool and you start introducing cooler neutrals into your mixes. We also have the added complication of dealing with this big black area here, which will only work if we introduce warm colour into our blacks. Understanding this warm light, complex halftone, cool shadow structure before you mix a single colour is what gives you a roadmap for this entire painting. Number four, preserving your lights. When you are painting direct light, the lightest areas of your painting are very important. They are what creates the illusion of luminosity, and without them the whole painting loses its magic. Paint your lights once, cleanly and with conviction, and then leave them alone. I would recommend leaving them until the end. Build up your warmth first and then work with your white paint straight from the tube. Lay this over the top decisively. The moment you introduce a cool colour or too much white into the lightest lights, they will go chalky and lose their warmth and luminosity. White is a necessary but dangerous colour in your lights. It cools and desaturates whatever you add it to. Use as little as you can get away with. The relationship between your lightest light and your darkest dark is what creates the drama in this painting. And that relationship only works if both ends of the scale are as strong as they can be. Correct in temperature and clean in colour. Number 5, why the shadow areas matter as much as the light. Your lights are only as powerful as the shadows that surround them. The two are completely dependent on each other. This means your shadow area deserves just as much consideration as your lights. The first thing to understand about shadows in this painting is that they should be painted with colour. Rich, colourful darks mixed from complementaries will give your shadows a depth and luminosity. The second thing to understand is that shadows are full of reflected light. Light is bouncing off every surface in the environment, and some of that light is finding its way back into the shadow areas of the cat. The edge where the light meets your shadow is also critical. And finally, don't make your shadows too dark too early on. Build them up gradually and keep assessing their relationship to the lights. Number 6, my palette. Let's now have a look at my palette. I am using cadmium yellow light, yellow ochre light, transparent yellow oxide, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, ultramarine deep, ivory black and titanium zinc white. I have also mixed up a few other colours, a black red and a black green. When I mix these two together, they give me a rich black, a purple, 2 oranges and another green that leans blue. This painting revolves around orange and blue. For the background, I have used this orange and this blue plus white. Where I needed to push it more yellow, I add my transparent yellow oxide. Transparent yellow oxide is a really great yellow to use for direct light. For this section over here, I have added blue to my white and then yellow to my cat's fur highlight. This gives me a warm, cool transition in my whites. I've used my orange and blue again for the shadows and used much more obvious temperature shifts. I've used my yellow around the shadow edges so that they have a warm transition into my white. Notice in my painting, I build up my white gradually over my warm canvas. Notice also my background colour is a warmer orange, so I have a strong temperature shift here too. For my cat, I start by laying a warm brown orange. This is so I can lay my cooler colour over the top. Remember, it is easier to kill cool temperatures than add warmth. For the really black areas of my cat, I am using my rich black, which I am shifting between warm and cool. I need to lay this paint twice to get a really dark black. I do this over 2 days. As my cat transitions into these warm lighter values, I use my ivory black on my dark value edges. This then gives me a warm, cool, warm transition. Where I have cooler light tones down here, I mix my black into my mix of orange and blue. I always make sure I have a cooler transition into a warmer colour or vice versa. To sum up then, paint the light rather than the object. Understand what the light is doing in your reference photo. Light is always warm, but white is cool. How you apply the paint to accommodate this is important. Keep your paint colours clean. Pay attention to your shadows. If you would like to come and paint with me in oils, join my workshop on the 3rd of July. You'll find the link in the description below. There are also more details of lesson opportunities on my website, sarahhallidayart.com. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future painting tips. Thank you for watching and see you next week.